Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. So this time we are taking a look at Kyle White's top 16 list from the UK National Championship. He was of course playing Mermails. Now we didn't get the chance to interview him on the day, but he has been in touch over Facebook. So we have the list as well as the rounds, and I pinged him a few questions over Facebook so we can get his responses from those as well. So let's get into the list. So it is a Seekers Light list, which means the majority of this is going to be monsters. It's actually 37 monsters and 3 spells. So we start off with Triple Teus, Double Megalo, 1 Pike, 1 Gund, Triple Dragoons, now available for players all across the world. Very nice. Triple Prince, double heavy infantry, and there's no marksman here, clearly sets not being too much of a problem. 1 Diva, 1 Mulan Glacier, triple Undyne, and 1 Controller. 1 Rosenix, so you can send this with the Undyne to get that token, which is really nice. Then a triple Angler, 1 Beaver and 1 Sunfish, that covers the Nimble engine. Triple Swap Frog and 1 Ronin Totem for the frogs. No Dew Frogs in here, don't really need them. 1 Ibly for the combos with the Nightmares. Triple Droll Knockbird. 1 Ash Blossom, and interestingly there's 1 DD Crow in here. And then obviously triple Seekers Light. For the extra deck, there's a Flare Metal, Galaxy Tomahawk for the combos, 1 Totally Awesome because you can make it fairly easily with this list, and you can just recycle it anyway so you don't need another one. 1 Link Spider, you can actually make this with the token or the Genix controller. 1 Mermaid, 1 Cerberus, Phoenix, Goblin, a Mistar Boy, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Unicorn, 1 Decode, 1 Firewall. I believe this is a key part for some of the combos. It's just useful for bouncing stuff anyway. 1 Sayuja for fixing your dead hands, and 1 Borrowload. For these side deck, triple Sphere Mode, probably for Goki and just combo heavy decks. Triple Denko. Surprisingly here, I don't think we see Denko in many lists. It's actually really good at the moment. It deals with a lot of the rogue decks that you're going to see at UK Nats. And obviously you can shut down things like a Reincarnation or Scapegoats as well. And then there's a Vela, a second DD Crow in here, double Gamma Seal, triple Twin Twisters, 1 Abyssgale of the Mizuchi, and 1 Rangeki. So a few spells in here which come in particular matchups. So that is it for the list. For the rounds that he played, round 1 he went up against Altergeist Artifacts and went 2-1. Round 2 against Trickstar Sky Striker, he went 2-1. Round 3 against ABC, he went 2-1. Round 4 against Gookie, he went 2-1. Round 5 against Gookie with Sky Strikers in there, he went 1-2. Round 6 against Trickstar Sky Strikers, he went 1-2, losing in time. Round 7 against Trickstar Sky Strikers, he went 2-0. Round 8 against another Trickstar Sky Striker, 2-1. Round 9 against another Trickstar Sky Striker, went 2-1. Round 10 back into the Altergeist again, and he went 1-1. Then that allowed him to break into the top 64 with 2 losses and 1 draw there, so very, very strong. So pushing into top 64, he went up against another Trickstar Sky Striker list and went 2-1. Round 32, top 32, sorry, another Trickstar Sky Striker and went 2-1. And finally in the top 16, knocked out by BA there, 0-2, so that was Thomas Rose knocking him out of the tournament there, but a very, very strong record. Clearly has an exceptional matchup against Trickstar Sky Strikers with only a single loss to them during a time there. So then I've got a few questions that I sent to him over Facebook, just asking things about the list, as per usual. So I wanted to know why he decided to run basically a full water deck for the event. He said he's been working on the deck since he read Light of Sekka just before Flood came out, and he thought it would be perfect in this kind of list. Back when he was playing in 2014, he was always playing Gear vs Mermail, and he had always wanted to play the Mermail side instead. This deck just has so much power and an insane amount of options, both in play and when deck building. You can build to go first in Extra Link, or you can play to OTK your opponents. The Nimble engine, obviously not entirely standard in some of the previous Mermail lists that we've seen before, but it's been very popular recently. He said it was insane over the weekend, good with the Frog engine to play around Reincarnation, and it gives you other options than Pass if you get drolled. Also, the ability to shuffle the Garnet Nibbles into the deck with Seekers is really, really good. so it's extra utility for that spell card there. Then why did he go for 1 Beaver and 1 Sunfish? He played 1 Beaver and 1 Manta actually, sorry, not a Sunfish there. Nobody at the event had a Sunfish. Beaver at least can do something in hand if you brick hard, and Manta or Sunfish are just complete garnets except for being able to discard with Frogs or Mermails. The reason that he ran 3-1-1 rather than 2 Beaver is because it means that they're different names for Nightmares. He's seen some builds running loads of Nimbles for some gimmicky curious combos, but he didn't really feel like it. As for the hand traps, he's got the 1 Ash and 1 Crow in the main. I wanted to know if this was to do with space, or if he didn't have them, or if it was something else. He said that room was really tight, as he wanted to run all of the different engines to increase the power of the deck. So he gave himself 5 spots for hand traps rather than typical 6. 3 Droll, he says, is just mandatory, because if you shut down your opponent, then you can just win from there. Shuts down everything apart from BA, apparently. Ash is really good, but he felt like it's very easy to play around. And it made for some filthy banishes with it over the weekend. Kagari, target engage, or Hornet, Goki, rematch Fizzle, Lilybell, TK, etc. In hindsight, he'd wished that he'd sided 2 more Ash, because reincarnation is a thing, but if he could be bothered to buy 2 more for the side deck, then he would do so. And his side ruined Trickstar Sky Strikers already, to be honest. Then, as for the extra deck, it looks pretty solid, but I wanted to know if he'd consider something like Space Insulator in order to, essentially to be able to get the down arrow as soon as he's made the Galaxy Tomahawk play. He said he probably wouldn't bother with it. He ended up deciding to go blind second, as the extra link for Mermails is very fragile without a spell build for Called by the Grave, that kind of thing. And the Tomahawk and Firewall were there just in case he needed to extra link, or he was made to go first, but it never came up. As for the side deck part, Denko's are looking really strong. I wanted to know if he brought it in just for Rogue, or if it was also there for things like the Pure and Trickstar Sky Striker builds. He said it was completely outrageous. He played basically nothing but Altergeist and Trickstar Sky Striker in the event, and he sided Denko for every game. He usually went for 3 Denko and the 5 spells, in exchange for 3 Undyne, 1 Controller, 3 Suckers, Light, and Ibly, and it did the trick with almost every game. Obviously there's no 1-for-1 here, because he's not playing the spell build, because he's playing Suckers Light, and he wanted to keep the side deck strictly to the 5 spells that he has used. Otherwise his whole side deck could end up becoming a spell package, basically. His easiest and hardest matchups, to be honest, he wouldn't really say he has too many easy matchups, but the element of surprise is really what helps you to win games with this deck. He'd say that his hardest matchup is Goki, because he doesn't really have any main deck outs to their boards. I wanted to know if he'd play the same deck again, and if there are any changes that he'd make to it in the future. He would definitely play it again. If he was to change anything, he would drop Pike for something else. Possibly an Abyssdine, as he had a small test with it, and it seemed pretty good. He thinks that when the new Battles of Legend hits, which has just happened actually, he'll be testing a going first build, because you can do Mulian Glacier and Gunblar Dragon against your opponent to get rid of 4 cards in their hand turn 1, which seems really dumb. As for shoutouts that he'd like to make, he wants to shout out the locals, the Grumpy Goblin in Ramsgate, Kent, for providing them with a good place to test and to chill leading up to the event. The group that travelled up with him together, and for Kirk, who worked on the deck with him, who actually ended up facing in top 32 and beating. So congratulations, Kyle, a really solid list, and a great set of answers from you, really helpful for working out how to pilot the deck in the future for anyone who is viewing this. Really solid. Interesting to know that you couldn't get your hands on the Sunfish there, obviously, and you had to replace it with a Manta, but otherwise very solid list, and looks great. Good luck to you in future events, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see you again on the channel in the future. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.